from nightly disturbance, nobody to service, our lives been worthless, violence insurgent, dying, surviving the gutter with urgency, hustling for currency, earning these daily. It's crazy. The same hood that loved me and made me can hate me and one day might murder me. In first degree, certainly, I've suffered through the toughest of trouble, maladjusted youth. I've seen fiends with scuffed up shoes, puffing fumes of drugs, of booze, but hard times and struggle got a funny way of humbling you. When the crime rate wave one time gon' parade daily through all the blocks you was raised in, gotta find your way cause they lying in wait, decaying on this grindstone pavement. Never let them take your mind, keep your heart light. Through all of the fire and dark nights, though the ghetto's a hell of a hard life and nobody acknowledges our plight. On corners with niggas that turned into savages. Souls deformed by significant poverty's damages, look at the images. Cities are ravaged through fads, are sick and sadistic, they bust when they capture you. The road to survival's a hassle that tackles you. So we find hope in religious figures that shackle youth. Revolution is imminent, struggle in bundles. Fighting death and imprisonment, walk through the jungle. Revolution is imminent, struggle in bundles. Fighting death and imprisonment, walk through the jungle. I come from a slum that was almost defeated. The wicked I've witnessed, you'd hardly believe it. A cycle where death is more constant than rain. By the way, shots will spray the Lord coming today. Why did the bank take my house away? Worked 3 times to stay, but rent high in the bay. My fam full of pimps, bushes and preachers. Hustlers out grinding, panthers and teachers. Working so hard, the clock hands are bleeding. Had hella friends, but so few call me when needed. Homeless, I struggle, alone in the jungle. Roaming the stone where most others would crumble. I rose to be humble, my throne is the rubble. My home is with those that chose to be troubled with holding me up. I owe them eternally much. I know I can trust. For sure, I was raised on blocks hot with game. Seen blocks cocked and aimed. Body shot and left dropped in flames. Near a nocturnal train, blood-stained tears, cops and chains. Somebody is discarding charring remains. Felonious monks are holding a pump. My community's molding to dust. It's hopeless as fuck. Cause most of us stuck in most potent of ruts. Tell me why my whole block is writhing in pain. It's not gonna change cause my cousin was shot in the brain. 3 years later, my brother psychotically slain. A block from my cousin insane. It's the logic of fate. Justice does not come in play, and it never did, not to this day, so my mama ain't safe. I'm psychologically scathed. How can I plot an escape from these corners where menaces turned into savages? Souls deformed by significant poverty's damages. Look at the images. Cause my city was ravaged through feds, are sick and sadistic, they bust when they capture you. The road to survival's a hassle that tackles you. So we find hope in political figures that shackle youth. Revolution is imminent, struggle in bundles. Facing death and imprisonment, walk through the jungle. Revolution is imminent, struggle in bundles. Facing death and imprisonment, walk through the jungle.
Keep that round of applause going for Profit. All right, judges, I need your scores now. This is like the longest I'm gonna give you all night. Damn, okay. I need,
And like, that's about it. That.
Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Give it up for having a twin. Single, so that's on you, y'all waited. Shit. All right. Keep them up until I read them out. All right. Keep the scores up until I read them out. We have a low. Let them know how you feel of a 6.6. It goes up to a 7, an 8.2, an 8.4, and a 9.2. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and never the points. The poet, never the point. All right, all right. Ooh, I feel so smart. Like, almost feels like I graduated college. I dropped out. I didn't barely graduate high school, shit. Look, I wanted to get my GED so bad. I was going to drop out and get my GED, but my mom was a high school teacher, and she was like, graduate or die. And I'm here now, so those are my options. But don't shit on GEDs. GEDs are actually, like, hard to get. Like, exactly. It's like graduating when your mind is less pliable. It's, like, actually the worst. It's like college. See? Anyway, lit. That was our first poet. That was our sacrifice, you know. Right. Judges, you are doing amazing. I love you. Keep it up. Audience, like, we had, like, one poet and there's still no tens. Oh, my goodness. Like, and I get it. Like, I know, like, politics has all dissuaded the average American from participating in civic duties and, like, democratic processes, but this is still America, and if we want something done, we can get loud about it. So what do you do if you like a score? Like I don't know what's strong. Like, strong like a bear. Yes, like a
Hey, we'll get a helicopter, those fucking polar bears.
done. Boom. All right. I'm going to pretend like I had my list out this entire time. And while I'm pretending, you should get a drink from the bar. They have, like, cider and, like, wine and, like, beer. I don't know what kind of beer they have because I don't drink beer, but, like, you should get a drink. We have a 1-drink minimum. It's okay if you don't drink because I drink. You can get me a cider if you just want to support the bar. You can get me a glass of wine if you think I'm cute, and if you really think I'm cute, you should pay my rent. You don't even have to pay the whole thing. Just put some money down. It's almost the first. All right, but while you're getting your drinks on deck, we have OSU, but give maximum love to our first poet competing in the slam. Give it up for Elani Scott!
The palm reader told me something. Dark hair, green eyes, olive skin. Those words, they've infinitely echoed through my mind's cavern. Dark hair, green eyes, olive skin. My skull is hollow enough for it to bounce back through every crevice. Dark hair, green eyes, olive skin. Whose hair? Whose eyes? Whose skin? Perhaps he could have been referring to the love that I miss. The fluff of your ink-like silky strands. The hidden gateway to your soul, accompanied by layers of sheets. Your rough, golden complexion that bears reflections of the sun. I ponder and ponder. Is this to be? Is he for me? Yet, these clues this truth isn't true. You aren't coming back, and it doesn't take a psychic to know that.
Keep that round of applause going for Elani Scott. And was that your first time here? Was that your first time here? Give it up for first-timers. All right, judges, I need your scores. Oh my God. Shout out to my brother for giving me these damn glasses faster than my goddamn insurance would. Y'all didn't laugh because nobody in here got insurance. It's okay. I'm not paying for it. My job is. All right. Audience, let them know how you feel. We got a low up a 5.2, goes up to a 6.7, a 7.2, a 7.3, and a 7.5. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and never the points. The poet and never the points. All right. Oh, damn. Okay, put the scores back up. Our scorekeeper is public school educated. There was a child that was left behind. You got the scores? Oh, well shit, we figured it out. Look at us. Give it up for Colin and his private school education. It was in El Cerrito, and it was the second most expensive private middle school in the East Bay. Don't you ever shit on Colin's education. At least the education he got. All right. Let's see. One day I'm going to have the list up as I read the poets out. All right, on deck, we have I Am J. Rice, but give maximum love to our next poet coming up on stage. Give it up to Owaju.
I watch the sun rays gently kiss your face and refract. With the energy to reverse the rotation of the Milky Ways and press the heavens back with the momentum of your ethereal and overpowering beauty, which in each microsecond is but a microcosm of your total divinity, and I love you in every way that a man could attempt to express. The grace you move with is as the spoken calligraphy of a goddess. Your supernatural sin carries a delectability that stirs the ancestry in my spirit. Your smile spills volumes of sensual peace, and as I watch it, I can hear it. Your laugh is when celestial harmonies and terrestrial melodies meet and metamorphose. There is a beauty poetry has and will always attempt to encompass, and you are a breathing metaphor, so I base the awe of attraction off a scale from 1 to you. I'm thinking you must have spent your last 5 past lives in beauty sleep to be such a stunning view. And it's the most maddening frustration to not find the statements when this feeling that I'm holding is so clear. Though you connect the missing segments of my essence, I want to be more to you than just your Osir. I want to love you with the intensity of 1,000 white stars exploding into supernovas, and spend a lifetime taking your body and mind on exotic and intimate getaways to make love to you over and over and over. Each time moving closer and closer and closer to a level of understanding most lifelong soulmates never reach. See, the knowledge of myself needs your wisdom to be complete. And baby, I want to speak with you. I'm talking till I'm Mariana's deep with you. Till our conversations carry on and sleep with you. Till we're one in love's lungs and I can just breathe with you.
If I could just be with you, I would fuse my divinity to the tapestry of your heart, and we'd make a lifetime of amazing. If I only knew the words to start, we could charge and ignite the stratosphere with our passionate tears. The proof is in our union. It's no accident. We're close enough to knock the I am off of impossible and heal the ill and illogical. You feel the methodical spaces of my thoughts pages with traces of your ageless nature, and got me giving sky fives and on a first name basis with faith, just to give thanks to the Most High Creator. You are the necessary feminine perfection to my metaphysical core, and woman, I love you as my connection to heaven's umbilical cord. Can you tell it's a little difficult for me to keep calm when the greater my distance from your lips, the more that breathing seems wrong? And if this seems a little strong with my whole manner and vibe, it's because I'm finding you and this love, it's like finding a pattern in pie. That's why I'm trying to take your ring finger and place it through Saturn's sky, because nothing that I could work on this earth would make me worthy. And with all this yearning, I watch the sun rays gently kiss your face and refract with the energy to reverse the rotation of the Milky Ways and press the heavens back with the momentum of your ethereal and overpowering beauty, which in each microsecond is but a microcosm of your total divinity. And I is nothing less than a God. You're nothing more than a man. No, that is my everything. Is ever to be anything, it's with my wedding ring on your hand, and I love you.
Keep that round of applause going for the poet. All right. Judges, I need your scores. These glasses. God damn, Colin, you ain't getting these back. When this come on at the cookout, all the kids and the Christians go home. All the kids and the Christians go home. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's auntie and uncle energy. It is auntie and uncle energy, and that's how you got your cousins. All right. All right. Let them know how you feel. We got a low of a 7.4. Goes up to an 8, an 8.6, an 8.7, and an 8.8. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet and not the points. All right. Audience. How we feeling? How we feeling? How we feeling? Feeling good. We feeling good. I've heard some things that when poets are like speaking, it kind of feels like it's drier than the Sahara Desert in here. This is not your grandma's poetry reading. This is live art. This is hella lit if you ask me, which means you can like interact. Like if you hear something you like, you can do things like snap with me. Snap with me. You can stomp your foot. Everybody stomp your foot. You can say All right. We're going to try something. It might be hard because I can't multitask. What if we snap, stomp our foot, and Most important thing to remember tonight is that the more energy and love you give to this stage, the more energy and love this stage will give back to you. So make sure we show love 100% of the time to 100% of the poets. Lit. On deck, we have Brennan, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for I Am J. Rice.
This is fiction. To those misunderstood, you are understood. 6 a.m. Surprise, eyes open, head rises but broken inside like a conquet. Soaking pillows, painted in tears by bruised cheeks, heart aches reappear from sheer grief. So what's reality? Disbelief, sanity due to disease, dreams. Disbelief, mother enters scene, spitting splinter screams. Wake up, bitch! Get your faggot ass to school! Yesterday, my name was failed abortion. Day before, I was why daddy never returned. But today, everybody will know Mr. Nobody. Wake up, nobody. Nobody wakes up. 8 a.m.
unkept kitchen welcomes my disgust to another do-it-yourself breakfast left by mother's mislove. She exits to second shift, still pretending I don't exist. Ever since my first suicide attempt in grade 6, found father's forgotten favorites and figured he wouldn't miss his 2 semi-glocks and car chains. Inside my Jansport safely contained for doomsday. Dare I stop and stay? But await more weighing pain from 4 straight years of boiled shame, or dare I walk this way and face the place where hate remains from nobody, nowhere, knowing my name? Departing doors display a dawn of disdain as I descend. Wake up, nobodies. Nobodies, wake up. Noon. Enter, then adjust double doors secured. Unseen, unheard until my cafeteria greeting occurs. Bitch nigga! Ha! Faggot ass! Ha! Slit wrist! Ha! My body marches past sharp laughs. My grip clenches backpack. Varsity giants throw food scraps. An extended leg forces my downfall. My face meets sticky towels. Surrounding crowd erupts in applause. Countless fingers aim their names at Mr. Nobody. Wake up, nobody! Nobody, wake up! Their shouts swallow my speech. Time for my tools of silence. 100 eyes recognize me all at once. My watery cries turn cold as ice. My shaky hands gesture glued glocks. My itchy fingers tap the trigger. Bah! Then snaps the trigger. Bah! Bah! Then pulls back the trigger. Bah! 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 Until all fall flat or dismembered, they will remember my teeth smiled as their mouth screamed, begging, pleading in pain. Why? Stop! They will remember my lips laughed as their feet ran into doors chained. No reason to explain why. Stop! I am society's greatest threat, the one who fears nothing. Reload, save the last for nobody.
Keep that round of applause going for IMJ Rice. All right, judges, I need your scores. I haven't heard this song in hell long. Damn. Tomorrow is Throwback Thursday. Today is Weird Wednesday. Yeah, you are. You have a kid. Shut up. It's funny because we're the same age. Like, literally twins. All right. Judges, y'all have been kind of consistent. I fuck with that. We have a low of a 7.2. It goes up to a 7.2, a 7.4, a 9.2, and a 9.3. Give it up for the poet and not the points. All right. We are chugging right along because on deck we have Tish Eintz. But give maximum love to our next poet coming up on the stage.
Excuse me. Yes, you in the room looking up at me, I have reason to believe that you are amazing! And here's why. Did you know you can glow in the dark? Humans are bioluminescent. No matter what color your skin is, this light that our eyes can't see lets all the other predators know where we are. And we all look delicious when the moon wakes up hungry for blood or kumquat. Instead, let's talk about love.
an avalanche of neurotransmitters moving through you. They speed up your heartbeat, make it hard to eat or sleep. These are the same chemical effects as amphetamines. We are literally addicted to love. In your blood, there will always flow a small dash of gold. You are more precious than you know. And did you know we share half our genetic code with bananas? Or that a few of us can taste the flavor of syllables as we speak them? Some women have an extra color receptor or two and see more shades of red and blue than men will ever know. Loneliness is physically painful. The same part of the brain that makes pain frightening drives us to connect, to seek companionship, to feel home in someone else's arms, and to feel lost when you aren't there. Which may explain why your tears act like memories. They change shape depending on why you're crying. Even though 90% of the cells in your body have their own DNA and are not technically you, every atom you are is 99.99999% empty space. And none of them are the ones you were born with, but all of them were born in the belly of a star. You are so amazing. I just thought you should know.
Keep that round of applause going for Brennan. All right. We got one score. Judges, I need your scores. Got one score, 2 scores, 3 scores. We're going to get you a new marker. 3 scores. Okay. 4 scores. I just need my 5th score. I am unbiased. I have no feelings or thoughts. Lit. Okay, all right. There's like a wide range of opinions here, and we love that, the melting pot of America. We have a low of a 7.2. It goes up to a 7.5, an 8.2, an 8.9, and a 9.3. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet, not the points. All right. We're going to keep it pushing on deck. We have Jordan Wilson. But give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Tish Ives.
That's how little I am. No. All right, so my name's Tish Ince. I'm a poet from England. I now live in San Francisco with my recent husband, beat poet Dane Ince. This is written for my grandson, who lived with me in Gloucestershire, which is like a countryside part of England. And he's black, and this is after the storms at Capitol Hill. This is called Standstill. There's a time to stand still and a time to run. Watch me, grandchild son. Listen to these words because I know when to run. I feel every black heartbeat, slave feet running in a standstill, becoming still, being still, standstill, brushing my hair, afro sister, mother's care, easy day comparison, easy, stand still. Black UFO answer at once through his young mouth. Chill, nanny, nothing gonna happen. Streets they know, stood in nights, mobiles in hand, man's them. I feel Babylon and Ku Klux Klan. Triple threat or triple K, patterns in shadow lynch. History car reverse, pulling up a ride to put air in tires. pressure youth in spread and position. Masked up, freedom bound, hog tied, chill side, stand still. You watch me, I'm cooking here, dishing up fried chicken and advice. His young mouth gonna make no sound. No grandma if you lying on the ground. Don't answer back, see that makes it worse. You want this chicken here with Frank's hot and kumquat sauce? Pass me that standstill cloth. I imagine bandaged shroud on my knees welling over him, and every birthday balloon, ice cream scooped, dished up rice, roti, ackee, coconut curry, barbecue rib, trini boy bake, chicken the chicken, fried, stewed, spiced, baked, none left on his plate, none left on his plate, looking at his cold feet that ran. Stand still, stand still, stand still.
Keep that round of applause going for Tish Ants. All right, all right. Okay. All right, judges, I need your scores. These judges are consistent as fuck. That's the only feeling I have. Thank you for being consistent. Let's see. I had to count for a second, like on my fingers, because it's bad. All right, we have a low. Let them know how you feel of a 6.6. Goes up to a 6.9, a 7.0, a 7.3, and an 8.8. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet, not the points. All right. All right. Yeah. Oh my goodness. We're like almost halfway through this list. Like, yeah, we're just chugging right along. On deck, we have Yvette. But give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Jordan Wilson.
When I punch the boy who pulls down skirts in communion class, the priest says my behavior is inappropriate. Who finds home in a religion that only wants you when silent, when you're raised both Catholic and Jewish, but cannot find God in either? The priest says throwing kumquats at his head isn't justified. The priest says, don't fight back. So I don't. When I am 6 and it's my skirt being pulled down in my bathroom by the first boy I ever loved, who poisons my sexuality with abuse, long before I would have claimed it for myself, I am afraid to fight back. When I turn to Judaism for a voice, there is no space for mine. Every high holiday, I mourn the Hebrew I never learned. Tongue heavy, I pretend to know which Torah page to turn, sitting lower in my seat each time my sisters have to help me, ashamed of not knowing. Meanwhile, the Catholics say, eating the flesh of Christ will erase your sins of the week. Surviving abuse that will last 3 more years. I ask if God is so all-powerful, why he can't just will the bad away. Nobody found it innocent. Parents misplace birthday invitations, afraid of children who ask hard questions. Nobody heard the fear in my voice that the way abuse had devoured my body had left more sins than a wafer could heal. Night terrors left me searching for the jaws of trauma, the monster who read me bedtime stories, the boy who loved me like he was hungry, who chose not to hear this meal cry. The cantor sings, Olam Yesed Yivana. He'll build this world with love, like the gullible child. I believe it. I am 8, a Yom Kippur, wanting my ancestors to teach me to endure pain. The rabbi story tells about the ancient Israelite woman. Swears that milk and honey run in our veins, but the Jewish community has always called me unclean for talking about the occupation of Palestine, for saying only blood runs in veins, and they have always said that mine is not Jewish enough to count. Neither religion calls me lover, calls me daughter, calls me worthy. Christianity baptizes me Lilith. Loud girls sound like sinners. When I tattoo my values of tikkun olam, Hebrew for repair the world the way the Torah taught me. Mainstream Judaism calls my body the desecration this abused 6-year-old always believed it was. I will always be too much Christ killer to wear a cross, too much woman for religion that wants my mouth to open and close on cue. I will not choose home, besides the homeland that strangles its opposition and calls it baptism, names it mikvah, the cross and the Star of David that left blue lips from the river Jordan to the Atlantic. I will not choose home, besides the holy waters that birthed my history, but have always silenced voices like mine. I am not their ghost to drown.
Keep that round of applause going for Jordan Wilson. All right, judges, I need your scores. Okay, there's glare. Ooh, that was worse. I guess my eyes are ready to be bald now. We have 4 scores. All right. Judges. Not judges. Audience, let me know how you feel. We have a low of a 7.0, goes up to a 7.3, an 8.2, a 9.1, and a 9.1. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet and not the points. All right. Who here can tell me what this is? It's a bucket, it's a tip jar, but more important, it's empty. I don't know about you, but there's been a couple poems, maybe like 5 or 6 or 7 poems that have kind of taken me to church. And in church, they pass around the tithes. It takes a lot to run a weekly show that gives out $200 in cash prizes when, the government doesn't give us $200 in cash prizes to give y'all. Absolutely not. It all comes from community support. It comes from people like you. Thank you. So I'm going to pass around this bucket, and you can put $1 in it, $2 in it, $5 in it, $1 million. If you want to donate $1 million, you can make a check out to Reginald Edmonds, and I will make sure it gets in the right place, but I'm going to give it to you. And it will go around the room like a snake. Yes. Who got 5 on it? Hey. All right. I'm going to pretend I was doing so well. I had the list pulled up and shit. Oh, thank you. We love encouragement. Don't encourage me, though. I'm in both my bimbo and villain era, so you don't know what you're going to get. All right. On deck, we have Diana Medina, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Yvette! Hold on. DJ, cut the beat. Okay. I'm going to take responsibility for this because I didn't tell you as an audience that you're responsible for clapping and cheering as loud as you can for every single poet that comes up to this stage tonight. I don't know about you. Exactly. Until they get here. I don't know about you, but the number 1 fear in the United States, public speaking, which means that every single person who touches this stage tonight is braver than you who didn't. So if we're not going to cheer for live art, if we're not going to cheer for poetry, we're for damn sure going to cheer for bravery. So I need y'all to give maximum love to our next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Yvette!
exactly where I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be here. The big man upstairs has been holding levers and pushing buttons, clearly blindfolded because, by heaven, I wasn't made in his vision. His acolytes, however, could see clearly. My presence was born out of some worldly wedlock to them, something pungent, something vile, something feared. So they made their cast in their own image, letting me and many of my kin drift away from their mind and silence out of sight. So they told us what to wear. So they told us how to speak. So they told us how to sit. And so they told us how to pretend. Worst of these screenwriters was the one who was supposed to have my back, no holds barred. My mother. A zealot, like the rest. She thought she did good when taking me to soccer games or out camping, when I listened to her and when I fit in her world, playing along with the role she wanted me to be. And throughout, I was without purpose. And when wailing and crying my troubles to the role I was given, protests arose that I wasn't grateful or that I am indeed the role, no matter what my feelings screamed. All in hope that I would sink into my mold again and fit nicely. But it was all without love. For greater I know no more pain than this, than mourning the loss of my mother, who is still alive. It's strange, really, being present here. I look at myself and I see a stranger looking back with the same confusion and bewilderment that I am in. When I move to avert my vision from them, they follow. When I look back, they're still there. My mind is disconnected from this automaton I was born into. Plenty of good and kind people say, "You're just as pretty the way you are." It means nothing. An aesthetic to hide they know nothing about the prison in the shape of someone who I never was. And although I talk like me, dress like me, curl my hair like me, all in hopes that one day I will see myself. Never once have I seen myself, and never more I will. Thank you.
Keep that round of applause going for Yvette. All right. This is just a reminder that we are in the Starry Plow. Shout out to Starry Plow. Yes. This is like one of my favorite places to be. I've been coming to the Berkeley Slam for like way too fucking long, like a pandemic and there were 3 or 4 of those ago. So like, I really love this space. You really love this space because I mean like good drinks, good food, and the best way you can support this space is by buying more drinks and more food. I've already shouted out the bar, but it's 9:30. The kitchen closes at 10. I'll do a last call, but like, you don't want to get your food when it's the last call. You want to get your food before it's the last call for the kitchen. So like, you should go. They have like, I really fuck with the chicken wings. Not gonna lie. They have shepherd's pie though. Not anymore? Damn, what do you got? Shepherd's pie and fries. And root beer floats and a Guinness float. Again, that might be the way to get me to drink some beer. Put some ice cream in it. I don't know. You tell me. Get me a Guinness float and we'll see if I like it. But you should go to the kitchen, make sure you get some food, you know. Especially if you're drinking, make sure you get some food. You know I sound like your mother, but like, when did your mother have you throwing up over a toilet? Never. So, eat some food, get some drinks, and judges, I need your scores. I have 1 score, 2 scores, 3 scores. I feel like we need to get you another marker. Damn. Can we get another marker? Young Yeezy. Colin, at the front. At the front. Those are the markers that work. The ones in the back are suckish. Okay, we have 1 score, 2 score. Can you tilt that towards me? Lit. 3 score, 4 score, lit. All right, we have a low of a 6.7. It goes up to a 7, a 7.1, a 7.4, and a 7.8. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and never the points. The poet, never the points. All right. On deck, we have Dane Ince, but give maximum love to our next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Diana Medina.
Yeah, all right. I just wrote this poem last week. Okay. Today I woke up in a funk. I feel so inconsolable and insignificant. Even my coffee didn't snap me out of it. The best way I can describe how I feel today is in Spanish. Because unfortunately, English just doesn't cut it. Hoy me siento bien apachurrada, agobiada, desorientada, imperfecta, mirando mi vida pasando por cámara lenta, descontenta. I feel unmagical. Like a soggy salad left out in the sun. Ignorada y asoleada, no tengo ganas de hacer nada. Hoy me siento como una galleta salada, como una cobija mojada, como alguien que amaneció con antojo de carne, pero solo hay pura pinche ensalada. Wishing I had some brunch to go with these tears the size of kumquats. Maybe I could put them in a mimosa. Existing this way feels like a nightmare. It's not that I don't want to live. I do. I want to live. But not like this. I just want to be something else for a bit. Something that will give me a break from the burden of being myself. I don't want to keep feeling haunted by my failures. I need a vacation from them. Today, I just want to be something important. Something people love. Something people can't live without. Something that would stop the world if it didn't exist. Wi-Fi. Yes, I said Wi-Fi. I don't want to be me today. Today, I wish I could be Wi-Fi. People ask about Wi-Fi at coffee shops. Wi-Fi entertains babies on tablets at restaurants. If I was Wi-Fi, people would earn my trust by action, buying something they don't need so they can get my password. In a post-pandemic world, Wi-Fi is something akin to air. I want to feel what it's like to be needed like that. I wish I could crawl out of my skin and into fiber optic 5G networks. I might have better posture in a place that deals in algorithms instead of feelings. I would finally understand the stuff we can't see. I could be holding the power to make us all blind to one another with a series of strategically placed zeros and ones. I could facilitate spaces for humanity, designed to make us scroll our lives away in search of Clarendon filtered triggers and reels to awaken our traumas. If I was Wi-Fi instead of myself, people would ask about me. They'd be mad when they don't have me. They'd need me to find answers. I'd be the thing that brings them an abundance of digital joy. Pornhub and Google wouldn't work without me. Every workplace and business would need me. People would make sure I was turned on. The world would be highly invested in keeping my signal strong. People would make sure my light was on. They could be in constant search of connecting with me to do important shit, like communicate and work and keep a baby quiet on a flight and distract themselves. When people lose me, they'd miss me, and they'd be happy to find me again every time I come back with more bars. They'd be willing to spend money on old coffee and mediocre sandwiches to get my password. I'd make their world stop buffering. I'd make rabbit holes appear. I could give you something to binge watch to take the pain away. If I was Wi-Fi instead of myself, even I would care about me today. Thank you.
Keep that round of applause going for Diana Medina. All right. Judges, I need your scores. The audience has opinions, but I don't. Judges, put up your scores. We have 2 scores. We have 3 scores, 4 scores, 5 scores. We almost broke the 9 barrier, but not quite. We have a low of a 6.0. I have no opinions. It goes up to a 9.1, a 9.2, a 9.3, and a 9.7. Give it up for the poet and not the boys. All I will say is, I actually stand a judge that plays the villain, so do with that what you will. Play your role, do what you want. None of this matters. Like, we have 38 weeks in order to avert a climate crisis? Have fun. Right? It's scary, right? Who saw the movie Don't Look Up? Yeah. That was 2004. We're fucked. All right. On deck, we have Bambi. But give maximum love to the next person coming up on stage. Give it up for Dane Ince.
Trigger warning. Words to follow. Reaction to Billy Collins' advice on how to be a poet. It is still early, quiet, peaceful awakening before farm animals stir, still before the crowing of the cock in the yard. Shh. Quiet, mournful morning just before the prayer at the crack of blackness, black, rising, warm, and full of glory, kissing the hem of every cloud, burning glorious rays of blackness, dark, bludgeon, stabbing every innocent rainbow to death. This is my Van Gogh ear. I have no use for anybody's advice on how to bleed. I just hope that some of the spurting artery spray lands on the page. I want to be sure and leave plenty of fingerprints at the crime scene like graffiti. See, fuckers? I was here. I was here. A drunk. She was a drunk. I loved her. She died. The cats she left behind have no idea where she's gone, when she's coming back, if she's coming back. Neither do I. And I saw her go. Turn pro now. Give up the amateur drinking. But I won't. I'm too chicken. It's not a good look, that wasting, yellowing. You turn when your liver says, fuck, I'm done. She looked like a pre-Raphaelite dream, except for the color, gaping mouth hung open, just won't stay closed. I asked the nurse to take a picture of me holding Karen's face, holding her mouth closed. You don't want that memory. The nurse tried to evade. Oh, yes, I do. Please take this picture of my large hands holding the seemingly small face of Karen, of my last I love you, of her Raymond Chandler long goodbye. You came home. You came home today in cardboard box, in a cardboard tube, in a zip-tied plastic bag in a cardboard box, orange and black and white, shipping labels, cremated remains, cremated remains, cremated remains, cremated remains, cremated remains, cremated remains, labels strategically placed. I have plans for us. They are infinite. You get no say, no argument. I cannot stop the wailing, deep, totally taking me over, no cell without anguish, like the painting, the scream. There is no comfort, just selfish, howling. I cradle you, grief. Maxie the cat sleeps on the bed, our bed, where I take my grief nap alone. You tattooed on my heart with a branding iron until I breathe no more. You came home today. Despair. I fucked despair, rough, hard, long, fast, in despair's hairy, dark, smelly ass. One of the best fucks ever. The laughing kind, laughing so hard, you think you both may not stop coming ever. And laughing, you come again, crying out the name and ecstasy of your favorite deity. We collapse, idiots, grinning, coffee-stained yellow teeth. I smoke the last camel in the pack, and again get hard, rock hard, cock standing straight up like a telephone pole, just a pulsing in the hot Arizona sun. Come here, baby, get some of this. Despair is my pitch. Nocturnal train dream. In the dream, I'm riding a train like the Metro North, entering a long, dark tunnel to Grand Central Station, the BART, or the Metro in Paris. My cock is out. Much bigger than in the for real porno movie big. Hard, battering ram, hard, strong enough to crash through castle gates just for grins. Everybody's looking at the floor, looking at the ceiling, or on their cell phones calling 911 or video capturing the events. A stranger to me, a woman goes up, strap on, wagging, bends me over the seat and fucks my ass. And when she reaches around and grabs me just as I'm coming, I think, now this is a woman I can marry and divorce and marry and divorce and marry and divorce and take home to meet Mama. Poetry's grocery list. A dozen quanquats, blood oranges, hearts of palms, everything in the store that is red, and salt for the wounds.
Keep that round of applause going for the poet. I'm just gonna surreptitiously put my vape pen away. All right. Judges, I need your scores. We got 1 score, 2 score, 3 scores, 4 score, and 60 years ago. Can I get that 5th score? Follow your heart, judges. All right, let them know how you feel. We have a low of a 6.0. It goes up to a 7.1, a 7.3, a 7.4, and a 7.9. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet, never the points. All right. Okay. On deck, we have Lorenz, but give maximum love to our next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Bambi!
I don't know how you didn't know that was supposed to happen. Thank you. I hope y'all know who the X-Men are. Dear Jennifer Lawrence, aka Hunger Games girl, fuck you for attempting to play Mystique Marvel's chasing and the ruby red hair you refuse to sport. Your wig looks stupid. Sitting atop your head like a raven's nest, like the light bulb that turns on above mine when I realized you did not do Mystique justice. As the most relatable actress in the movie business, I'm sorry to say you could never relate to her. She's strong-willed, built with a backbone that stretches past flexibility and maneuvers through her self-awareness. You have never worn skin from the wrong color palette. And you don't understand how brave it is for her, walking in a world that wants her dead, but wants her genetic makeup, wants to keep her locked up, dim her light, wants to turn her into a walking war machine in a world that displays her genuine emotion. As Blind Rage says, she's nothing but an angry blue woman. Malicious blue woman, seductive blue woman says she sucks the life out of the room with her skin, with her being. She barely talks, but she takes up too much space, says she has something to fear when she must walk with the feeling every day. She walks in a society that strives to oppress her and benefit off her. How brave it is then to know you can be anybody else, transform your very identity before society's eyes. You could walk in someone else's shoes, try on someone else's privilege to be the beauty everyone accepts. How brave it is to still stand in your own skin. Your version of Mystique is equivalent to the token black friend. No! Fuck the people who told her to fit in, to be ashamed of her identity. You put Mystique in black latex suit, like she needed to be contained, like her hero is a relative term. Mystique was always a hero to me. You were her like a costume. I saw her like representation. I wear her like a lifestyle. You could have at least cut your hair for the part.
Keep that round of applause going for Bambi. All right. Woo. Judges, I need your scores. Was the poet trying to sway the judges? I have no comment. All right. Ooh, child. These glasses ain't glasses anymore. All right, let me know how you feel. We have a low of a 7.4, goes up to a 7.5, an 8.0, an 8.5, and an 8.7. Fuck the scores. 7.4, 7.5, 8.0, 8.5, and an 8.7. Did you get that? Gang, gang. All right. On deck, we have our last poet of the first round cadence, but give maximum love to our penultimate poet of the first round. Give it up for Laureate.
What happens when you no longer trust your memory? When your memory no longer trusts you? What happens when your memory refuses to be vivid? Removing out all colors because you keep replaying the memory. Remove the taste of kumquat out your lips, your mind. What happens when your memory removes all shapes and lines? Refuses to be clear, becomes simply blurry every time you retrieve it. What happens when your memory leaves you, asks you to quit following for them? What happens when a memory takes a soft part of your heart, tells you to remain while they go? What happens when your memory claims you unsacred, calls you a broken temple. What happens when your memory becomes distant, manifests into a place you can no longer reach? What happens when your memory begs you to quit remembering, knows you are hurting, yet goes? You stay and pray. Even if the prayers feel broken, you pray anyway. You be still and sing. Voice chants, eventually cracks, splits fault lines, turn into valleys, a canyon. You let go, trying to find memory. Instead, find a self waiting for you, and you move on. You breathe and offer peace to yourself. You breathe and be peace for yourself. You move forth. You stumble, get up and move forth. You be kind to yourself. You invite kindness and be present when it is offered. Memory finds reason to return to you. Brings a heart you thought you lost. You continue to move. You go. Keep going. You love. You always love.
Keep that round of applause going for Lorenz. All right, judges, I need your scores. Got 1 score. We have 2 scores. Got 3 scores. Oh, this is so much better. See what a couple inches does? All right. Let them know how you feel. We have a low of a 6.8, goes up to a 7.8, an 8.1, an 8.2, and an 8.3. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and never the points. The poet and never the points. All right. On deck, we have our feature, Mighty Mike McGee. I'm so excited for our feature. But I need y'all to give maximum love for our last poet of the first round. Give it up for Cadence!
In the garden of this body, I play both God and serpent, telling myself juicy kumquat while breaking off another rib for this corset I squeeze so easily into Pope. The thing all hearts are made of, Pope, when all flesh becomes at the paper mill, splayed on its back, waiting for assigned gender to be printed on or cut into it, boom. The thing that holds pure potential, knows how to let someone go and grow into themselves where we all come from, what I can only try to imitate with these hands, tools. Tendons flex to grasp my palms around them. Paintbrush, pen, and chisel, I mold the world around them to create something I call beauty. These hands, an approximation of delivery with which I create something out of something, because I can't create something out of nothing like our mothers can. Grasping. No one taught us to incubate a feeling. Letting go and looking inside, I see her waiting, bound and gagged, before I alter my own reality with these hands, these digits, these drugs that make the questions go away. This sobering gender binary, a false dichotomy, punishing the me that is not me to the surface, so they wrap me in a business suit and blue tie, cinch the excess and call it foreskin, stiff upper lip, mitosis. Tell me what my chromosomes mean. Like 35 years in this body isn't enough to unravel the lies about what the skin was said to be, and they named me Brian, a good Gaelic name. Means strong, means grip strength, no flow, no ocean to these joints, no lace around these tits. No tits, so they say boy. Say hold your cock like a chisel, boy. Say wrap the ones you love in marble, boy. Say carve that girl gone like a bar of soap. Get her good, get her dirty, let her wash away. Those girls you love, that girl, you better not be. You can't be the moon, just the dust. Gravity ain't free around these parts, son. Look at the craters. You want to hold them craters? You like to dance in the path of the meteor, or are you gonna hold that chin up? That crowbar jaw? You're gonna speak like sparks, like a dagger, or else don't hold yourself. Ignore them hips. Don't be sexy, be wolf pack. Don't be the sway, be something holstered. Don't be the negative anvil between the negative space between the anvil and your brother's anger. Be the knuckles, not the bloody. Be steel, unyielding, a tool that can hammer out the weakness of this world. These women, the worst girl is a not girl. But if you're gonna be a not girl, remember that you'll never be a flower bud. You'll never make fruit, so go hide in a barrel or a casket and ferment. Be something intoxicating, or at least exotic. Something we can bottle and consume, a liquid that will fit the shape of its container. Something with a neck, the right shape for a fist, so we can drink you and forget our shame.
Keep that round of applause going for Cadence. All right. Judges, I need your scores. All right, audience, let them know how you feel. We have a low of an 8.6, goes up to an 8.8, a 9.1, a 9.2, and a 9.5. Fuck the scores, give it up for the poet. Not the point. The poet. Never the point. All right. On deck, we have round 2. We're going to take the top 5 poets from round 1 and insert them into round 2. If you don't make it to the second round, I'm sorry. But again, we're like here every week. Keep trying. Keep trying. The only thing that is a defeat is quitting. Keep coming back. Your poetry's important. These scores don't matter. I'm drunk. You're drunk. We're just having fun. But we have this amazing feature. And before I read this bio, I just want to say one thing. The first time I saw this man, he was right here on this stage 2 days after my birthday doing the fucking Anarchy Slam, and it was the most chaotic, beautiful, poetic thing I have ever seen in my life. And I have admired him, his work, and just everything about him ever since. So I've been a fan for I don't even want to count anymore, 6, 7 years, something like that. I'm really excited to be able to announce you on stage. Our feature for the night is none other than Mighty Mike McGee. Let me read this bio. Mighty Mike McGee is a well-traveled stand-up poet and storyteller from San José, California. Give it up for the South Bay. In the world of Poetry Slam, he is the first to win both the 2003 National Poetry Slam Individual Grand Championship and the 2006 Individual World Poetry Slam Grand Champion. I don't know, if you don't know anything about Poetry Slam, that's okay. But that's a big fucking deal if you know some shit about Poetry Slam. He has toured very extensively throughout the United States, Canada, and Europe. Since 2002, he's covered several 100,000 miles performing his brand of poetry and humor. McGee has been featured on HBO's Deaf Poetry Jam, CBC Radio and Television, and NPR's Snap Judgment. He was one of the first Americans to perform spoken word at the University of Paris. I'm gonna not even pretend to speak French and tell you the next city. Do you know it? La Sorbonne. I like that. In 2005, he was appointed Poet Laureate of Santa Clara County for 2018 and 2019 and serves on the Poetry Center San Jose Board of Directors. McGee's first collection of humor and poetry, In Search of Midnight, is available through Right Bloody Publishing. He is also very comfortable with the pronoun they. You can visit MightyMikeMcGee.com for poetry and more, or you can give a nice, loud as fuck, ratchet, graceful Berkeley slam welcome to your feature for the night, Mighty Mike McGee!
get this mask beard thing that goes on. Anybody in here with facial hair, or you wear a mask on your groin? I guess maybe. Yeah, it just Anyhow, hi Berkeley. Okay, so I'm gonna say this right now, real quick. They got desserts. They got desserts. What is neat too is there are very few places where you'll find a Guinness float, and that's impressive. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I just found out from Nas that Guinness is coming out with Guinness Zero, which seems pointless, but now I can have a Guinness float. I'll get myself a Guinness float. So, anywho, go up there, go get yourself a nice dessert this evening, and please support this venue. I have been coming here. I think the first time I came to Slam, or I at least tried to get on the list, was probably in 2000 or 2001. And then a bunch of poets and I would get in a car, and we'd all drive up here. Sometimes there'd be 3 or 4 cars coming up from San Jose just to Slam, because this was the spot. And it's all poetry slams. Well, a lot of poetry slams have died because of the pandemic. The Berkeley Slam has never died. It has gone up and down. It's been through peaks and valleys. But what these folks are doing with this slam right now feels like 2000, feels like 2001, feels like 2004, feels like 2009, like for real, all right? And they are like, those were some good-ass days, all right? And those days feel like they are back. You guys are seriously doing a fantastic fucking job with this slam, all right? Anybody in here who identifies as a poet, I have stickers. Or if you know a poet, I have stickers that just say poet on them, literally. So please let me know. Just come up to me at some point. They're purple lettering on black. It just says poet. So just, come up to me at some point during the night and get a poet sticker. I have no merch to sell you. I'm not here to take any money from anybody. I just want to have a good time tonight. So I got stuff to give you, all right? Most of it is words. Here we go. Starting off with this one. This is a true story. These are all true stories, folks. All true stories, all right? Oh, but I got to find this one, though. Oh, thank you, Google Docs. Thank you, Google Docs. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Wi-Fi. Do you take this Wi-Fi? Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded Wi-Fi? Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie. The last few years have been a real doozy, but I've been up some tremendous peaks and down some of the deepest valleys I've ever known. But the journey to enlightenment is one wrought with suffering and pains. Surely, there is a psychological toll on the path, but there must first be a physical purge of energy, a destruction of the body in order to reform it. I sought answers that only sweat and blood could lead me to. I swam lakes, I climbed walls, I broke in, I escaped. Mother Nature became motherfucker nature, right? Everywhere I went, everyone I met gave me a modicum of an answer so that over time I could know something that could not be denied, a truth that was a constant. Not that black cannot be white or that there is no gray, but there is a true evil and a true good in those but that there is a true evil and a true good, and in those can be perfect, exact, and pure, even in people. Most of us lean toward one or the other, but it turns out that there is one human in the world who is equally good and equally evil. No one knows him until they meet him, and one must seek him alone. Turns out he hangs out under the hills, underneath the H of the Hollywood sign once in a blue moon, literally once in a blue moon. So I went online, bought a bus ticket to Hollywood. Turns out that one does not simply approach the gray man under the H. To appease and lure the answers from him, one must bring gifts. I arrived in Hollywood and reviewed the gray man's Amazon wish list. A new pair of black socks, 2 buckets of KFC, and a cheesecake. I made my way up the Hollywood Hills. I reached the D in the sign. I looked down the row of letters to the H. I saw a very little man waiting alone. He appeared to be playing a game on his phone. As I got closer, I realized that he wasn't really getting any bigger. My perspective was off kilter, or maybe I had entered a mystical plane. a realm of conscious unconsciousness. I felt as though I was moving as far as I was close to the gray man, this perfect example of not good and not evil. Turns out, he was Danny DeVito. Now, I approached him, now known to me by face and reputation. Are you the gray man? I asked. Yeah, I'm Danny DeVito. He never looked up from his Candy Crush screen. You bring my chicken and cheesecake? Yep, and your socks. Thanks. So I searched the world over looking for the answers to life and ended up back in California. I am told that you have the answer, Mr. DeVito. I have two possible answers. I can give you one. You must choose good or evil. I'll give you a minute to choose. 1 minute? How will I choose? What a choice. My first thought was to take the good. I mean, what could I possibly lose in knowledge of pure goodness? But then I realized that the knowledge of pure evil would give me a perspective I have never known. Okay, Mr. DeVito, I would like the answer to evil. He handed me a slip of red paper. Call this number. What is it? It's the phone number of the beast. I opened the slip. 666-867-5309. That's it? Just a phone number? This has to be a joke. You will find the answer at the end of that line. I thanked the gray man and slumped down into Hollywood. I sat inside a Starbucks for a while, dealing with my feelings of uncertainty about the choices I had made. My search for answers to life had taken me everywhere and nowhere. I wondered who might be waiting for me at the end of the line. Donald Trump? Lucifer themselves? What would I ask them? The president of Nestle? I don't even know what to believe anymore. I found a payphone and called the number, because apparently I wrote this in fucking 2002, right? Hello? Sorry. A sweet voice answered. Hello? Grandma? Oh, Michael, how are you, sweetie? Why are you answering this number, Grandma? You died in 2002. The afterlife is all hustle and bustle. They work us to the bone. But I worked my way up, and I'm answering phones in the office for the big guy now. Wait, so you're in heaven now? Oh, hell no, hon. I guess I should say I worked my way down. Oh, Grandma, shit, you're evil, huh? Oh, honey, deep down I was very racist, and I treated your mother horribly. I don't love your sisters because their father was Mexican. True story, true story. I know. But Grandma, you were good to me. How are you such a horrible person? Honey, Hitler was good to his dog and his girlfriend, but trust me, you beat him at checkers, and you're fucked. Now, don't think too hard on it, sweetheart. Goodness is a choice. If you see badness in the world, just do what you can to replace it with goodness. I wish I had, but I was scared to do what was right, and I feared change. There are some important choices in goodness you can make in your world. Don't wait for them to choose you, because once you're dead, you are what you did. Oh, okay, Grandma. So, who do you work for? Who's the beast? Dick Cheney. Really? No, hon, it's all middle management and computers down here. Everything is run by programs and programmers, but they are really evil programmers. Okay, Grandma, I'm mad at you, but I also love you. I love you too, sweetie. Don't forget to eat. I never do. And hail Satan. Hail Satan, Grandma. I gotta admit, I wasn't exactly sure how that one was gonna go. I was like, well, if you're gonna try it anywhere, try it in Berkeley, right? So, all right. Now I got a whole bunch of like little poems that I want to read to you guys too. All right. So here we go. This one is called Be You. Oh, thank you for the 10. That's very nice of you. This one's called Be You. All right. And this is for anyone in here who might be even struggling just a little bit, right? I will be a friend of midnight and freeways and soil and a philanthropist to raccoons that only want what I do not. A comrade toward the cause of unplugged TVs that have become really horrible, heavy tables. an amigo to good food made by people with identical tongues that only sound different, a savior to spiders in the houses of shoe-wielding scaredy cats, a lover to the loveless, less loathsome to those who don't know me, brighter than any spotlight, more present than any stage or Christmas tree can offer. I will be an audience and try harder than every rock, but I will be soft about it as I swim through shit and brick. I'm telling you, let everyone know you are here. Be a laugh or a lip syncer or a child to the reflection you've avoided all these years. Be alone in the company of whoever you thought you were. Invite whoever you will be to your living room for coffee, poker, or forgiveness. Lay out bedding for them because they will be staying longer than you eventually. And so will I. Throughout all of this being the entirety of your life, carry on with all the living you have been scared of. Yep, that's what I thought, Prophet. That's what I thought. Yep, exactly. All right, this one is called Armistice. This is kind of in the same vein as that one, and these are all new. I've never read these ones in public before. Yeah. New shit. This is called Armistice. Be the first to drop all weapons, the last of your blood to draw blood. Your sole defense is your own will to let live those who gnash their teeth or use them to smile in the shadow of their own awakening. Let us break bread every night with someone, anyone learning to be someone who is always learning, even when it means sometimes breaking bread alone. Thank you. Oh, I like this one. This is a nice one. This is a sweet one. It's called Uproot. And this is for anyone who's in love. Look at that person right now. Or maybe it's just a sandwich, next to you. Right? Uproot. When I die, plant a fruit tree in my belly. Then I can still feed you when I'm gone. I implore you to climb me once I am tall enough. Dangle your feet off my branches. Let your gray hair tickle my green and yellow leaves. When I change colors in the fall, know that that's me saying hi, and that it is time for a sweater. The breeze will move me, then you. And I'll stand there, always, holding you, as long as you wish. Then, plant a seed from me next to my roots, and there you can go when you go, and we will slowly drop a family long after our bodies are once again dirt. Y'all, you guys, who here has the most garlicky breath of all time right now? Who got them fries? And then you put a mask on after, and you're just like, fuck. Oh shit. Like butt and garlic, Anyhow. Oh, you guys didn't have butt too? All right. Just me. just me. So far. Yeah, I mean, before the night ends, there'll be so much more butt eating. Right? This is like the land of the butt eating, right? I'm not outing anyone, all right? All right. Okay, this is kind of an experimental one, and I'm very curious if this resonates with folks, all right? I had this moment, those moments, like writers, especially writers or people who are like idea people, you come up with an idea that you really like, and you don't even care if anybody else likes it, right? You come up with something, you come up with a line of a poem, whatever, and then and you remember exactly where you were when you came up with it too. I was literally walking into my bathroom. I turned on my light. The idea came to me, and I turned the light off and went back and wrote it. And I was like, fuck shitting right now. I got another thing to shit out. Butts and garlic. All right. So much bowel movement. All right. I like to call it boo moo. I just made that up. You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. I could land this thing. No, I could land this thing, but hear me out. Guys, hear me out. What if we could stay up here? What if we stay up in these clouds? I mean, look at how wonderful it is out there. You want to leave this? Yes, I know I could land this thing. But why? What's down there for us? Really, let's consider the miracle of even being up here. I really don't see why this needs to end. I could land this thing. Even more if we pull together. Isn't it possible, though, that we belong up here? Maybe there are no more destinations. I mean, who would welcome us back? I could land this thing, but what if we're already home? That's just real new. Real new. All right, here we go. I got 2 more poems for you guys, all right? You guys all right with 2 more poems? 2 more poems? All right, 2 more poems. All right? This is also a 2-poem warning to Colin as well, all right? 1. I've heard a lot of poems that begin with the number 1, then continue in a numbered sequence. I wonder if there's a name for poems such as these. 2. My intrigue has set me to write at least 1 poem in this numbered structure. 3. I feel I should find out more about this numbered structure. 4. I asked my friend Dave K. Ilii if he knows the name of this sort of sequenced poetry. 5. He does not. 6. I sent a text message to Victor Infante, a dear friend and a most notable culprit of this style of poetry. He responds with, I don't know offhand, but I will research it when I get home. 7. I assume he is driving. I feel let down by his unknowing. I worry about his ability to drive safely while sending me a text message and while being so unaware of things in life. This is not the first time he's let me down. Once, I asked to borrow $40, and he only had $36 in cash, so he had to PayPal me the other $4. It took forever. So mean. 8. Victor calls and explains that there is some contention in the literary world as to the true name of this style of poetry, but all agree that the numbers between the sections between the numbers are cantos. 9. This is a canto. 10. So is this. 11. Ezra Pound is a most notable culprit, is notable for writing a long love poem consisting of 120 cantos, 800 and some odd pages. 12. That feels like way too many cantos. 13. This style of poetry often feels like an easy way to tie together a bunch of unrelated topics. 14. I'm not as interested in this poetic structure anymore. I would rather that my poetry had a consistent theme and maintained the original sentiment, yet allowed it to grow beyond the first verse, to express myself while seeking resolve, solution, and or catharsis. It is too easy to veer away from the initial concept of the poem. 15. It saddens me when pet owners put sweaters and hats on their pets. 16. I cannot break dance, but I'm going to keep trying. 17. I should never write one of these poems again since I don't know how to end it. 18. Weird cursing for no reason is hilarious to me, but probably not a good way to end a poem, especially if it ends awkwardly and abruptly. 19. Shit lips and short boners. I also brought a bag of now and laters to share with the audience. All right, so make sure, please go get a dessert from the venue, support them. But I also got now and laters for everybody because I wanted you all to feel like it was fucking 2002 again. All right, so I'll gladly go around and pass those out to y'all. 1 each until everybody gets one, you sons of bitches. All right, Colin. once again, can we give a big round of applause to Rich Oak, the folks at Rich Oak, and everybody who puts this all together, makes this happen? Because, man, I feel electric tonight. Also, I really try very hard to rep the Bay whenever I'm outside of California. But when I'm in the Bay, I gotta rep San Ho because I love it. It's my home, you know. And so I am. What's that? I know. Thanks, Lorenz. But I just want to say I'm on the board of directors for Poetry Center San Jose. We got so many things going on down there. There's a lot of poetry happening. I want to say we got something like 12 monthly programs going on. So like, if you want more poetry and you're anywhere close to the South Bay or you want to come visit sometime, by all means, please get a hold of me. My email address is mightymikemcgee@gmail.com. All right. This is Colin. Go ahead and hit play on that. This piece of music is by a band called Sigur Rós from Iceland, and it fits real nicely with this poem. And I totally have permission to use the song. I love breaking international laws. Anyhow, so I wrote this for a woman because I was trying to explain to her why it felt like we'd known each other for so long. We'd been dating for about 3 weeks. Several billion years ago or more, you began as an inert, ultramicroscopic particle floating deep in space. Were any creatures aware of your existence? They might have named you something wonderful, but they didn't, because as we now know, eyes require complexity too large to see the tiny spark and shine that you had. Eyes didn't exist yet in that part of the universe. You had no purpose to be seen. After a long hibernation that included the universe forming before and around you, a very large nearby sun died, 1 septillion octillions of times larger than you, expelling all of its energy, pushing you, spinning you away along with newer, smaller particles that stuck to you and spun around you. You, now a wayward atom with a purpose you didn't ask for, because as we now know, the act of asking requires lips and teeth and things. Shot from deep space nearer the center of the universe, and after an extremely long, quiet, and relatively unencumbered flight, you landed on Earth's new moon, basking for the next very long ever. Sitting there for some time, perpetually energized by the strong rays of the Earth's sun. A new sun, warming the even newer planet, terraforming itself in silence thanks to the space between the two of you. You waited for nothing and no one. Your particles radiated longer than any particles have any right to do. You waited, and the moon took its time inching closer to an Earth, growing bluer and bluer as millennia slipped by, and you continued to spin. Suddenly, I came into being as a gas particle from Earth's sun. That angry star banished sextillions of us for no reason, because as we now know, reason requires brains and love and shoulders. It is possible, but unlikely, that I sensed your tiny spark and shine on my 93 million mile flight. This might explain the slightest turn in my trajectory. I landed next to you, and we sat on that lunar surface through so much time that we probably became inseparable. Because our bond was inexplicable. Because as we now know, explanation requires a need to understand. And understanding is sometimes a physical thing that just is. Just when we were settled, a large ball of fiery power blasted closely past us and our quiet home. Its tail as long as 100 of our moons. Its anger dragged us with it, and we flew right for the blue ball in front of us. Just before we collided with it, the fiery ball was consumed by molecules we'd never met before. Bigger than us, but friendly. They called themselves wind, and they ate the fire rock. And they welcomed us. They told us to settle down below in the coolness of what they called water. So we landed in the big water, and we floated for some time. We enjoyed it when the wind would carry the water up high and then splash it back down on us. You and I were one since before we left the moon, but we enjoyed this much more colorful, more interesting place together. Millions of years went by, the weather changed billions of times, the wind took care of us, and the water helped us navigate. Creatures got smaller, and we honored them by adhering to other parts of them for their entire lives. We lived in the eye of a large beast. We were the most important parts of thousands of insects. We were the least important parts of at least 10 dinosaurs. And we were the messengers for 10 different hair follicles. But we were the tiniest part of a bird's heart. We could feel it soaring from within. That always made you laugh. That was our favorite job. We lived through so many cycles and cycles of creatures and plants. We lived as teammates in thousands of trees for their entire lives. But lastly, we became part of a flower that got eaten by something, then digested. Then eventually we got smelled and stepped on by a large dog. Its kind, frustrated masters called it Shinjo and yelled its name sternly as it footprinted us into their small dwelling, where we were then cleaned up and thrown into the garden. We'd been bonded for so long that we never knew separation was possible until that morning when the garden flashed brighter than an angry sun and everything around us was split apart, including you and I. I don't know where you went, but I returned to the water and searched for you the best I could at my size. Decades went by, and I was drank by a 2-footed master. The same must have happened to you, because we grew to become 2 very different bipedal mammals. I now live in this man's voice box. You live in your woman's heart. Mine loved art and the universe, as did yours, because we were in them and part of it in such a simple way. Because as we now know, the universe isn't just out there, it's also in here. My body traveled north to speak about all of these things in simple, loving ways. Your body sensed all of what is in you, might be in mine too. Mine knocked on your door. Yours answered, and I finally recognized that tiny spark and shine. Thank you, Berkeley. Thank you. I really, actually, figuratively, and totally love you all. Thank you.
Give it up for Mighty Mike McGee. Okay, judges, I need your scores. We have 1-100 now. We will need your scores in a second because I don't even know how to transition after that amazing feature. Like, whew, jeez. Come get a sticker. Come get a now and later. I love Mike so much. We have round 2. We're going to just slide right into it. All gas, no brakes. So we took the top 5 poets from round 1 into round 2. Now, I heard that not only were the judges so consistent that the scores were like hella close, but there were also a few time penalties. So if you didn't make it into the second round, don't worry. Come back next week. Try again. We will always be here. But the top 5 poets will be reading in this order, and this is reverse order of appearance. So don't think just because you're going first, like you have the highest score. I don't know what the scores are because, like, numbers, like, in one ear, out the other. I don't even have, like, 3.5 brain cells in order to count it high enough in order to give you scores. Did you say I really don't have the brain cells for this? Just remember who you wake up next to. Just remember who bought all of the knives in the house. I would never, for the government watching us on Facebook Live, I would never stab anyone for no reason. Hey, you come at me, shit. That was on you. I'm so glad that someone believes me because no one believes me. Well, thank you. That was my night. I'm going to go cry in a corner now. Thank you. Thank you for giving me ownership of my corner. All right, but that was a long way of saying the poets will be reading in this order. We have Cadence, we have Lorenz, we have Jordan Wilson, we have Bryn, and we have Oaju. Give it up for every poet that's going to be touching the stage in the second round. All right. So this is the money round, which means poets are not competing for fame. They're not competing for glory. They are competing to pay their bills because I'm not even going to count this. I have a wad of cash in my hand. And all of this is going to the top 3 poets of the night. So get ready, because if you thought the first round was good, and it was, the second round is going to be even better. But we had a feature, I know we're feeling a little, got to get back into the swing of things. So we're going to have a second sacrificial poet, someone to get the judges reacclimated to judging. So everybody say, spill the blood. And give maximum love to your sacrificial poet. He has been your DJ. Give it up for DJ Paternity. Boy asks, how many dead niggas does it take to get to the center of institutionalized racism? And Al responds, let's find out, says, I don't know, but my friend Jim Crow does. I was too busy killing, I forgot to count. The boy asks, how many dead niggas does it take to get to the center of institutionalized racism? And Al responds, a 1, a 2, a 6 million on the way here, but after that it gets a little bit tricky. See, you can't count slaves, it's full of people, and I was never too good at math. Boy asks, how many dead niggas does it take to get to the center of institutionalized racism? And the owl responds, until every black family is fatherless. Until every black mother mourns a black son, says if we can't kill him, lock him up. And ain't that just like a death sentence? Says until these streets are drenched red with your blood, until black life equates to black death and we have all of your green money. And aren't those the colors of your flag? Because we'll burn that too. So boy asks, how many dead niggas does it take to get to the center of institutionalized racism? And the owl responds, apparently 1 more. Says, curiosity killed the cat and we killed Malcolm, right? We killed Huey and Martin too. Says, don't ask questions, boy. Says, don't ask questions, boy. Says, boy. Says, manhood is for white people. Says, your skin is a sin and the wages of the sin is death. Says, I am death. I am the grim reaper. I reap what you sow. Take credit for your greatness and make sure your only legacy is a body bag. And that's if you're lucky, because it might just be a noose and a burnt cross. So boy asks, how many dead niggas does it take to get to the center of institutionalized racism? And the owl responds, until these wings encompass the world like a candy wrapper. See, this is that Tootsie Roll racism. A type of oppression that's only palatable because the poison's hidden behind 32 milligrams of sugary bullshit. And it isn't until you read the label that you realize that this will rot you from the inside out. And it's this moment when your body is nothing but dust, when there's nothing left to call black or revolutionary or human. This is the answer you've been searching so long for. So how many dead niggas does it take to get to the center of institutionalized racism? It isn't much. Just you. Keep that round of applause going for your sacrifice. Hey, sacrifice. Can you bring me my phone because it has a list? All right, judges. Well, I'm waiting for the list because, girl. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh my goodness. You're my new sibling. You've been replaced, Colin. Get it together. All right. Lit. Judges, if you can keep your scores up until I read them out. We have a low of an 8.0. It goes up to an 8.7, a 9.01, which will round up to a 9.1, a 9.4, and a 9.7. Give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet and not the points. All right. Hey. All right. We are in the money round. It is time. Judges, I need you to stay consistent. These scores are close. I need you to stay strong. This audience is rowdy. I need you to make sure we have a winner at the end of the night. Audience, I want 10s all around the board. Every poet, every poem, everybody's a winner. You get a 10. You get a 10. Everybody gets a 10. Judges, you are great. You are strong. You are consistent. You are loved. Audience, you know what to do. On deck, we have Lorenz. But give maximum love for our first poet in the second round. Give it up for Cadence.
There's a bathroom in my chest with a little girl who never left. After the storm of his fists and vice grip hit, she ran and hid inside of me while the world caved in around us. The day the innocence train clattered out through the gap of my missing baby teeth was the day I lost her. Adopted boy mask and began learning toxic masculinity, I tried to forget her. While she picked buttercups from heartstrings, looked up at me and said, "You love me, you love me not. Love me, love me not." Adolescence dropped me into puberty and punk rock shows. And there were cute girls in plaid skirts, combat boots, and cherry red lipstick, and I loved them. Makeouts and melting into the backs of station wagons, into each other's arms, and when I would let my guard down, the little girl would press her face against the windshield of my heart and smile, and the girls could see her. And in those moments, they would call me sweet boy and stroke my hair, and they knew that I was beautiful. Until it would end. And when it ended, it always felt like the first time in his hands, and she wailed at the crisp bite of abandonment as I shoved her back inside, ashamed of my vulnerability. And in the fallout, I found chemistry, the science of alcohol and amphetamines. Every neuron inside of me flooded with this medicine. Those were the days I learned to turn the volume of dysphoria down and muffle the screams of not right, not a boy, and she gave up. Until I met Violet. Violet wrote poems too. We blues danced and picked blackberries. She played accordion and sang and taught me about fine art and good food. And when we made love, I could hear the little girl humming inside of me. And slowly, the little girl grew hopeful. And that hope moved me sweetly, and I melted again into skin and onto my back, letting my lover tell me I was beautiful. But that ended too. And we were back in the bathroom, and I screamed at the little girl for making me so weak, and she ran and hid, cowering on cold tile, and I drank, and I drank, and I raged, and I spat, and everyone left, and I became numb and alone, and I slept. And in my weakness, she found resolve. She walked to the door and pounded on it, demanding freedom, said she could save me if we just got to safety, so I showed up wasted on the steps of rehab in Santa Fe. And on the 5th day, I woke to New Mexico sun rising, scrawled some messy eyeliner on my face, painted my nails glittery black as the little girl invited me back home to my body. I walked to the door and let her out of the bathroom. We stood looking at the light, crescendo over prickly pear and alligator juniper, staring back at the dust settling over the ashes of my life. And she was so beautiful. I knelt at her feet and begged for forgiveness. I said she left me. The girl left me. My girl left me. I thought you were gone.
Give it up for Cadence. All right. Damn, I was squatting on the floor and had to pop up. These are not Meg the Stallion's knees. Jesus fucking Christ. I cannot twerk on these. Like, damn. What year is it? 2022? That's not too long ago. That I was sitting up here, bending down, on these knees, working them like. Oh. It's a sticker. You should get a sticker from Mike. They're really nice. It says poet, I'm a poet, you're a poet, we're all poets making poetry together. Wonderful. Jesus fucking Christ. I love that. I love that. I love it when people sell out of things. Unless I'm trying to buy them. In that case, please fight me. I'm just telling the truth. I will fight you over the last shirt at TJ Maxx. I am that bitch. That is serious. Have you ever seen TJ Maxx? They only have shit when it's out of season. All right. We have a low of an 8.3. It goes up to an 8.6, an 8.9, a 9, and a 9.2. Fuck the score. Give it up for the poet. And never the points. The poet. And never the points. On deck, we have Jordan Wilson. But give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Laureate!
Kick you out of the kingdom, all you want to do is go back. They look at you strange when you're mixing potions and making things beyond their imagination. The only things these feeble-minded mermaids can imagine is that I was not like one of them. As if gathering herbs and elements and creating something magical was a crime. Me, I worked through my trials and error and get my shit down. How is making a potion or casting a spell any different than a king Triton waving around his trident, which he was born into owning? People don't mind power when it looks just like them. Because Mr. Triton had fins, just like every other simpleton around him. And I, a cicalia, with tentacles I dare not hide. My very existence scared and threatened their normality way of living. Differences are not welcome when they cannot be comprehended in their tiny little brains. And when they cannot contain the problem before them, I was never a problem. I was a dreamer and a visionary who challenged to make nothing into something damn marvelous. I once thought myself to be just like everyone. How my skin was never the right tone, how my bottom never had enough scales or fins, how my body had more curves than the ocean waves. There is no spell to stop hating myself. Believe me, I tried. Potions are illnesses that need to be cured. I didn't need to change the gift that is my body, because there was nothing wrong with it. The only real problem were assholes with big-ass tridents being followed by dummies ready to kiss his ass. You could call him king, but a king serves his people, and I was never worthy enough to be seen one of his people. They call me a fool for wanting better for myself. All the mermaids had to do is obey his command, and they are happy. Of course, the rules are made for them. Me, I follow them, and I'm miserable. I dare change things just so I knew how it felt to be part of this world. I was aching so much to be a part of. I wasn't asking for the kingdom. I only wanted the part I called home. I wanted them to see me the way they saw themselves, someone who had a heart and feelings just like them. When you kick you out of a kingdom, a holy place I call home, despite how miserable they all made me feel, all I ever dreamt of and thereafter is how to return home. All I want to do is go back home.
Keep that round of applause going for Lorenz. All right, judges, I need your scores. All right. We got 1 score, 2 scores. SZA, where the fuck is your album? Like, bitch, you are not Rihanna. Like, we are not going to wait that long. You are not Rihanna, Frank Ocean, Beyonce. We're going home eventually. Like, all right. We have a low of a 7.8, goes up to a 7.9, an 8.7, an 8.8, and a 9.1. But the scores, give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet and not the points. To the person in the corner who keeps, like, long booing the scores. I mean, the last 3 scores are the highest we've seen all night, so, like, I have no opinions. On deck, we have Brennan, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Jordan Wilson!
My body has been a burning house for as long as I can remember. Trauma and chronic illness make beautiful explosions. I'm caught between the wildfire survivorhood has made me and the flames of cis men. My pulse is unsteady, lips suffocation blue. Spectators bring cameras and mirror cures. First responders come when I do not call. They bring their beers and their loudest voices. When I say what I need, they throw dynamite between my teeth. Ask when my mouth was open, if not to consent. Upon my dry walls, just waiting to spark. Swear I begged for demolition. Every few days, my skin sets itself on fire. Raw and flaming in the coldest water. My compromised immune system, the only kindling it needed. Lyme disease gaslights from the inside, turns my brain against me, feeds on panic until every fabric, every surface burns. Masculinity only wants me wounded. Nowhere to run except into his arms. When I assert my needs, in a bar, at a slam, cis men insist they know better. I ask for a glass of water, and the bartender gives me wine. Nice boy says I send wrong signals. I run, and he puts himself in my contacts as 911, shoves me into his jacket. His pockets are full of his collection of flammable things. I don't want to be one of them. Most days, my veins are dammed. Blood pools in my feet from standing just minutes. When I take meds in public, cis men settle up to me, or pickup lines down my throat. How badly they want me dressed in ash. Masculinity promises to extinguish every light I've ever known. Ensure I never ignite again. Depend on him for warmth. Each time the danger passes, someone who wasn't there tells me I dreamed the coughing. Parasitic like the ticks that gave me this disease. There is nothing natural about this smoke. They call it healing. I call it arson. When I keep my skeleton, a reminder that something worthy once stood here. Men insist I'm imaginary. Dissipate all the bones I once was. I every tree that ever built me. Be careful what you wish for. My voice is the wildest fire's resurrection of 1,000 forests. My lungs breathe winds that begin disaster stories, ones that do not bow to men unworthy of their meal. Men have always called me Hazard. Terrified, this wildfire knows their name. When I am done with them, there will be nothing left.
Keep that round of applause going for Jordan Wilson. All right, judges, you know what to do. We have 1 score. We have 2 scores. Do we have 3 scores? Right, strike a pose. Strike a pose. It's giving Amazon.com. It's giving $20. It's giving fuck Jeff Bezos. Wait, like, he's not the one that bought Twitter because, like, I still kind of, like, want to be on that app. No, that's Elon Musk. That's worse. Am I going to get banned from Facebook for saying fuck Elon Musk, or is that the wrong, like, rich fucker to say fuck on Facebook? I cannot say his name without cursing, so we're not even going there. Just know, Mark, you're a fucking Mark. Anyway, everybody from Oakland gets that. All right. We got a low of a 7.8. It goes up to an 8.1, an 8.5, a 9, and a 9.1. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and not the point. The poet and not the point. All right, all right. On deck, we have hobo'd, but give maximum love to the next poet coming up on stage. Give it up for Brennan!
This is for my friend. This is I Like Mike after Mighty Mike McGee. Man, I like you. I like you like I like too much syrup on my Eggos. I would let go for you. Like Mr. Rogers likes speaking to an inner child's inner child. Like grizzly bears like to say, I like you a whole bunch of a lot. You're a pocket full of awesome. I like you not unlike hipsters like bands I've never heard of. Like Republicans like revelations. Like skinny people like coats. Like primary colors like their purple children. Like ice creams like the tips of our tongues. Like men like explaining things to non-men. I like you a whole bunch of a lot and a little bit more. You're a bottomless rice bowl with deep-fried beef tossed in awesome sauce. I like you similar to the way black holes and those who enjoy Lucky Charms like eating stars. Like bartenders and rabbis like tips. Like prison guards, judges, lawyers, cops, Big Pharma, and Jeff Sessions like lobbying to keep weed illegal. Like David Copperfield likes performing grand scale yet lame-ass feats of illusion. Like the U.S. government likes performing grand scale yet lame-ass feats of illusion. Like vampires, poets, and open-heart surgeons like to find the bleeding. Like cookie dough and ice road truckers like salt. Like Donald Trump and ghosts like white sheets. I like you a whole bunch of a lot times infinity, and maybe that's starting to dip into the equation of love. But you get the idea. In my book, you rock and I like rocks, fossilized or otherwise, just like you are always mighty on a mic or otherwise. And just because I spent an hour or so writing this poem doesn't mean you have to like me back. But damn it, I would really like that.
Keep that round of applause going for Brennan. All right, judges. We need your scores. Again, I am unbiased. The crowd is not unbiased, but I am unbiased. I have 4 scores in 60 years ago. All right, let me know how you feel. We have a low of a 7.2. It goes up to a 7.8, an 8.9, a 9.1, and a 9.1. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet and not the points. The poet and never the points. On deck, we have figuring out who won all this money and like getting drunk and going home. But give maximum love to the last poet of the night. Give like as much energy as you would have given the first poet of the night. Give it up for Oaju!
I've been praying you make it, while my heart's breaking to the cadence of your mechanically aided respirations, pulling up your blanket I'm teared up. Silently cursing friends who tell me to cheer up. It's weird, but unless your love has been clutched by death, and you know that if they go there'll be nothing left, then your comfort and comments will cause me to cuss and stress. Chalking this up to some cosmic logic makes me want to vomit. Getting up to stretch my nerves could use a break, but I won't touch a cigarette. If not for Newports and Santa Fe's, you wouldn't be stuck in this mess. Up in this bed, struggling for breath with me pacing my soul out. I never would have coaxed you into smoking if I knew what I know now. Every carton, box, Lucy, and lighter would have been thrown out. You would be conscious and we would be home now, where I would listen to your heart without these EKG tone sounds as your only signs of life. And mine too. Since I'm through without your shining light, I find I'm losing the fight to see silver linings and keep my feelings inside. Just so if you open your eyes one more time, you'll have hope in seeing me smiling. But right now, I need a drink. Tiptoe on the brink of catastrophe, I need to take the edge off things. I think of how you'll laugh with me before you'll ever inject me. We were casually puffing casualties, Russian roulette with tobacco, and every cigarette was refreshing the ammo. Now examples of a surgeon's warning ignored, borrowing time we couldn't afford. I see the reapers, the repo, a backhanded comfort for people who know how truly evil and unforgiving chemo can be, and how movies lie. When loved ones die, it never seems so serene. With all our beliefs, hopes, and dreams facing conclusion, destitution moves into view, I'm losing it. Stepping out the room to vent, I'm walking, giving little attention to the doctors talking. Distant with the reminiscent thoughts I'm lost in how often you told me to stay positive. Through all your sobbing and coughing, with all our praying to God. If heaven can't wait to take you, me and faith are staying at odds then. Taking my cup from the Keurig, I turn to see nurses rush through the room. I feel life being sucked from my spirit only to be flushed full of doom. Tunnel vision blurred, feet moving shoes, souls heavy, completely unprepared when we're supposed to be ready. I mean, my be-all and end-all might be ended by menthol-flavored hate, tasting fate, erasing our greatness and faith, moving beyond the pace of please pull through it. We're late at the door. Stop it. Coffee, dropping like a heartbeat. Clearly, watching your body jolt from the shock, and this is not you. Clearly, this is not me. Facing love's greatest fear. Clear and present danger, mixing with the hurt and anger, interfering with steering clear of the cold, hopeless empty that is my here and now. Clearly, peering down the barrel in the peril of a blast from my past time. Up in smoke, all our good are now bad times, when the only request I had was to have time. Canceling out answers back with your flatline.
that round of applause going. All right. Oh my goodness. Judges, you already know what to do for the last time of the night. I'm gonna need your scores. I've built a bond with these judges. Like, I feel like I know you each individually and your personalities and your childhood traumas and why you hate your mother. Like, I feel like I know all of that, and I just want to say that I am here with you, and I am so sad that we are not going to be getting scores again after this, but I need your scores one last time. Okay. We didn't do it. We didn't break the 9 barrier, but I'm okay with that, I guess. I have no feelings, I guess. We have a low of an 8.9. It goes up to a 9, a 9.3, and our first 2 10s of the night. Took us long enough. We've been trying. Took the whole show, but we got some 10s. Nice. Now, while our scorekeeper, Prophet, first of all, give it up for Prophet doing math on a Wednesday night. Back in high school, you couldn't get me to do math on Wednesday morning, so let alone when I've been drinking. So, shout out to all of our mathematicians while Prophet is getting the scores together. First, I want to thank the people that make this show happen. First and foremost, I want to thank the team, Colin, Prophet, Tino, Becky, Elle, everyone who makes this show run. All amazing ass people. All amazing organizers. If you see anybody and you recognize them as one of the crew, definitely say thank you. Buy them a drink. They're working hard to produce this poetry event every fucking week. But second, I have to thank the people who pay for this shit. Our patrons over on Patreon. Yes, we have a Patreon. Hey. You can go to patreon.com/richoakevent if you would like to donate monthly. You can donate anywhere from $2 a month to $100 a month. Either way, all of it goes right back into running this show and the other shows that we run, making sure that we are able to pay poets, pay features, pay educators, pay people. Yes. So it's really important that we get that support. So if you love us, you like anything that you heard, you have extra money laying around from, like, you know, I don't know, like your racist grandpa's death or something like that, you know, inheritance money. Definitely. Damn, he did. Oh, I was about to say, he did all of this math on this sheet of paper and then gave me the sheet of paper and expected me to do the math to figure it out. No, but he wrote it on the other side because he knows I can only read and I can't do math. And I can barely read. Thank you. Thank you. My God complex didn't need it, but thank you. All right. Damn, these scores were really close today. It really was the second round that fucking did it. Thank you, judges, for being consistent. In third place, oh shit. It is the money round. Where did I put that shit? I put it in one of these pockets. I did put it in one of these pockets. I thought I was lying like a motherfucker to y'all. In third place, winning 40 whole American dollars. I hope these are American dollars. Give it up for Brennan! Would you like to say anything to the people?
Thank you. I am facilitating 2 slams the weekend after this one. You know where downtown Berkeley BART comes up the elevator and then you got the half-price books? There's going to be a couple shows there for the Bay Area Book Festival. On Saturday, I'm going to be featuring and I will be hosting the Youth Slam. If you are 20 and under and want to come win some money, we also have cash prizes for the top 3 poets. If you are over 20, you should come on Sunday, where the Adult Slam will be, and there will be another feature. So thank you all very much. Appreciate you. Fucking love this guy.
Give it up one more time for Brennan. All right. In second place, winning 60 whole American dollars, which I think is more than 40, but like that's the highest I've counted all night, so who knows? Give it up for Owaju! Anything you'd like to say to the people?
I have a website with an album, lyricalcomp.com. Yeah, you can get it. Because the first album will pay for the second album, hopefully.
Get that fucking album. Support poets. There are multiple ways to make money as a spoken word artist, and that only happens if the community supports. So, like, go to that website. I already forgot it, but go up to Owaju, ask for the website, get the website, get the album, like I'm gonna do. Yeah, I have the memory of a half-dead goldfish, so thank you for giving me a prompt that I didn't need. I remember what I'm doing, I just don't remember what's told to me. We love ADHD. All right. In first place, let me get a drum roll first. In first place, winning 100 whole American, I think, dollars. Give it up for Cadence!
This is my first time on stage identifying as a woman. Thanks for being part of it.
Yes, keep that round of applause going for Cadence, for Owaju, for Brennan, for Mike, for every single poet that touched this stage tonight. Give it up. Give it up for yourselves. It's like 11 o'clock. It is past my bedtime, and you are still here supporting art. The show is over, but the night is not. Thank you so much for coming to the Berkeley Poetry Slam. We are here every fucking Wednesday. You should come back, bring a friend, bring more people, and we will see you all next week for the Berkeley Poetry Slam featuring, is it Dante Clark? It's Dante Clark. I'm really fucking excited for that one. I've been Reggie. I've been your host. Thank you for coming. We'll see y'all next week.